the Acrosoft Training Video Library in our Email Marketing Fundamentals Part 2 training. We recommend that before you take this training, you would have already watched the Email Marketing Fundamentals Part 1 training or that you're familiar with the blue administrative interface. Part 2 of the email marketing training is designed to help you take your email campaigns to the next level. In Part 1, we covered the subscriber tab and how subscribers are added to your database. Today we'll use the subscriber list we created to send a new campaign using a template we'll build from scratch. This training will also explain the functionality of the Forward to a Friend form, opt-out, and text only in greater detail. In Part 2, we'll also use the membership module and the forms module with an email campaign. So let's start with a quick review of some of the special features of the Acrosoft Freedom email marketing module. With this module, you can store data on an unlimited number of subscribers to use with different campaigns. You can wrap your campaign messages in customized templates, and you can send new campaigns out to easily accessible groups of addresses as many times as you want. Your campaign messages can easily be copied and edited into a new version for a future mailing, and you can resend a previously sent campaign to some or all of the original subscribers. You can also send HTML and text messages simultaneously. So let's log into our training site. And we'll click on the email marketing module. And as a quick refresher of the 6 tabs in email marketing, the campaign tab is where you add, edit, and send campaigns. The templates tab is where you create and store templates. The subscribers tab is your database of email subscribers. The categories tab is where you create categories for email group lists. The bounced tab is where you check for and make decisions about bounced email addresses. And the database tab is where you can manage the email address databases used with your campaigns. Now, before we build a template, I want to review 3 features of your email marketing templates and campaigns: Forward to a Friend, Text Only, and Opt-out. Let's start with Forward to a Friend. Forward to a Friend is a link for email recipients to click on and sign up to 5 friends to forward the original email to. The initial recipient can also include his or her own message. Administrators will be able to later see who forwarded the email and if forwarded recipients viewed it. Forwarded recipients are added to a completely separate standalone list, and by default their status is pending, with the idea being that they, or you, would actually have to activate their status. You can create different Forward to a Friend forms layouts for different uses, but your site does come with one default Forward to a Friend form for your email campaigns. We'll add the Forward to a Friend form and the forward message to the template that we built today, and later we'll look at the form from within the forms module. Now, as we discussed in Part 1, email campaigns can be sent in both HTML and text at the same time. HTML messages are the most common because they can include text formatting, images, and HTML formatting to help organize and improve the look of the email message content. Text-formatted messages contain only basic text without any HTML formatting. Subscribers can request to receive only text-formatted messages, so let's assume that customer James Gray would like to receive text-only messages. The administrator would just go to the Database tab, click on the text-only list, add a new email address, and enter James Gray at myacrosoft.com and save. And now James will only receive text-only emails. To delete him from the list to begin receiving HTML again, just return here and delete him. Opt-out functionality is probably the area that we receive more questions on than any other area when it comes to email marketing. We've tried to simplify it here as much as possible. Your opt-out list lets you manage email addresses for people that have opted out of receiving campaigns. It's important as a courtesy to allow your subscribers to unsubscribe from your emails. And to do this, you need to make sure that you add the unsubscribe feature to each email sent by the Acrosoft system. So let's assume that I have 2 campaigns that I'm going to send out, one called Red and one called Blue. If I send the Red campaign to my subscribers and a subscriber opts out, they'll no longer receive Red-only campaigns. If I send a Red and a Blue campaign at the same time to subscribers in both groups, and the subscriber who opted out of Red is still going to receive this campaign because they still receive Blue campaigns. Okay, so let's assume the subscriber opts out again of this campaign. Now, when I send that subscriber a Red campaign, a Blue campaign, or a Red and a Blue campaign, they will not receive the campaign. The general rule is that if you're sending to more than one list, the system will use the opt-out list. But if you're sending to only one list, the system will use the status column in subscribers to see if that subscriber is opted out of that one list in the group. Now, in your database tab, you also have email filter options, and the first one is for the opt-out list. You can add email addresses here, so you can still maintain their information, but the subscribers will not receive emails. So let's say you received a phone call or an email message from John Smith requesting to be removed. First, you should set John Smith to removed by going to the Subscribers tab and changing his status to removed. Then, to make sure that John does not receive any messages from future campaigns, go to Opt-out List, click on Add a new email address, and type his email address into the field to add him to the system opt-out list. If you need to opt out an entire domain name of addresses, for example, everyone@mycompany.com, enter @mycompany.com for the opt-out email addresses, and all addresses in that domain will be included in the opt-out list. Now, thinking back to our Red and Blue campaign, addresses are also added to this list by the system when the subscribers opt out of a campaign that has been sent to more than one group. And you can also import and export opt-out lists. So next we'll move to the Templates tab, and we'll build a template to use with an email campaign. We recommend that you start with a template, which is a design layout that can be used with a campaign. You can set up different templates for different campaigns, so say one has header images related to training, one has images related to sales, and so on. When you create a campaign email, you can apply the appropriate template to it. So every site starts with at least 2 templates: default and unsubscribe. Default is a very basic template, and unsubscribe is also a basic template. If we click Edit, it uses the Forward to a Friend form, and it includes the unsubscribe link at the bottom of the email. You can add as many templates as you would like because email content then fits into the layout of the template. So to create a new template, let's go back and click on Add a New Template. And here you have some template designs that have been tested to work with multiple email clients, and they're here as a strong starting point to begin the process of setting up your own template. You can preview templates here. But for now, I'm going to select the unsubscribe template by clicking on the Select link. Next, give your template a name. I'm going to design a template for a newsletter campaign, so we'll call this UWS Newsletter March. Description is optional, and it's auto-populated with the name of the template that you chose, but you can edit this. For this campaign, or for this template, I'm going to reference what features the template will use. So I'll type in forward to a friend, privacy policy, and unsubscribe. I'm going to select the forward to a friend form to make sure that it's enabled. And then below that is the HTML header, which is more technical than what we get into in this training. If you understand styles and have a basic understanding of HTML, and you want a more advanced training on HTML headers, then do contact Acrosoft to schedule an advanced live training. You do not need to use the HTML header in your campaigns. You can still have a great template design even without using it. So moving down again, HTML body is where you set up your design, and the best practice is to use tables to help you line things up nicely. When you set up your unsubscribe template, the content field and the unsubscribe message will automatically appear in the body. Today I want to start with the body of my email completely blank so I can show you how to put everything into a table. So let's remove the content and unsubscribe message. I'm going to insert a new table using the icon with the pencil. And I'm going to use one column with 3 rows. This creates a header across the top, a footer along the bottom, and a middle row for content. You can play around and try different options and layouts if you'd like. Cell spacing and cell padding are for additional spacing, and I'm going to set these to 0. We'll set the alignment to center. And for width, I'm going to use 600, which is a good standard width to use because it includes the smallest monitor size that people might have. I'm going to leave height blank and just let it adjust to the images and text that I use. And then on the Advanced tab, you could use a background image, a border color, or a background color. When you're done, click Insert. And the table appears with the dashed line around the borders of the cells as visuals to help space your template. These will not be visible when you send the campaign. Now, normally in the top row, you would put a graphic header consistent with your company marketing and branding standards. I'm going to insert an image for my header. So I'm going to click on the Insert Image icon. And you can use the Upload button to upload files from your computer. I've actually already uploaded my image, so I'm going to go to my Design folder and select United We Stand logo. Then I want to center my image. And in the middle section, I want to insert my content field so when I write my campaign, the content will flow right in. Above content, I'm going to include a title for my newsletter. So I'm going to put this right under my image. And I want to make this a bold font. Size 14. I want it to be Courier New. And I want it to be maroon. Now for the content, let's insert the content field and left align. I'm also going to change the font to Courier News size 12 gray, and I'm going to insert a line in between my newsletter title and my content field. So we'll left align, insert a horizontal rule, insert custom field, which is content, copy and paste to move it to the correct location. And then change my font. Then in the footer, I'll include some links, and I want to make sure, again, I insert a line in between. First, I'll link to the United We Stand site by typing Visit United We Stand. Then I want to highlight my text and use the link wizard to link to the home page. So to do that, I'm going to select Web Pages from the module drop-down list, New Window, Next, and click on the home page. Then I want to insert the Forward to a Friend link. So I'm going to type out Forward to a Friend. Again, highlight my text. Use the link wizard. Select the Forms module. New Window, Next, and click on the Forward to a Friend form. Now, just for design purposes, I want to insert a bullet as a separator in between my links so I can keep them all in one line. So let's do that. To do that, I'm just going to click on the omega symbol. Select the bullet from the top row, and it'll be inserted. Now, as we reviewed a few minutes ago, the initial recipient of your message can add their own message that will be included when forwarded. In your template, you have to set up where that message will appear. So in my template, I'm going to include the forward message above the contents. So insert custom field, forward message. And I'm just going to copy and paste it right above my content field. And make sure my font is the same color. Okay, so next I'm going to insert the unsubscribe or opt-out link. To add this to your template, type out something like unsubscribe, and first we'll insert our bullet point again. Highlight your text. Click on the link wizard. Then select Internal Link, New Window, and Next. From here, we'll type in unsubscribe URL as the link. Click Insert, and the link has been added. And we'll do one more. And we always recommend that you add a link to your company privacy policy to explain to your subscribers your policy protecting their privacy, including a statement about not selling email lists or giving out email messages to third parties. Your policy can be added into the template written out or as a link to the policy on your website. So I'm going to use the United We Stand privacy policy and link to the privacy policy page. So I'm going to type out privacy policy, highlight my text, click on the link wizard, select Web Pages, New Window, and Next. Click on Privacy Policy, and my link has been inserted. And now I'm going to change the color of all my text in the footer and change the font and font size as well, just to keep everything consistent. We'll make our text color maroon. Font size 10. Font family Courier New. And we're done with our HTML body. Now below that is where you set up text text email to send to your recipients who have requested text-only emails. This is in the text body section. So in the template, you need to set this up as well, and it can be pretty basic. So we'll delete what's in there now, and we'll put in our forward message, then our header, United We Stand newsletter, our content field, unsubscribe, and forward URL. Then we can save. And then once you have your email template set up, the email message itself is created using the Campaign tab. So we'll click on that. And some of the next steps will be a review for you from Part 1. So in the Campaigns sub-tab, we'll select Add a New Campaign. And bolded fields are required. Campaign name is just for your records. We'll call this March UWS Newsletter. Campaign description is not required, but you can use it to be more descriptive. We'll say date sent 3/1/3/10/2010. From email is required, but remember that it can be your actual email or a general email address. And this is the address that email recipients see, and it's also where responses go. So two popular examples of a general email address would be info@company.com or noreply@company.com. From name depends on email servers for how it comes across. Sometimes they see this instead of the email address, sometimes in addition to. It's not required. And then is the subject line of the email. And I'll use UWS Newsletter V1. Then, from the email template dropdown, I'll choose the template that we just created to wrap the email campaign. And then the next three lists, decide who you're going to send to. Under Subscriber List, select categories that you want to send the campaign to. Next to each category is the number of subscribers in that category. Form distribution are visitors that have filled out forms on your site. So if your form asked for an email address, those addresses were stored and the addresses are referenced here. The membership distribution list is made up of members who are signed up through your membership module. We're going to get more into detail on the membership list in a few minutes. You can select as many distribution lists as you would like to receive this email. The system looks for duplicates, so if you have the same email address in two lists, they would not receive the email twice, only once, even if they're in both lists. And I'm going to send to my newsletter subscriber list. Then the content of your email is placed in your editor. With the editor, you can use font formatting features such as bold, italics, underline, and colored fonts, and you can also use copy and paste. And you can insert images or videos as well. So I'm just going to copy and paste from a Word document. I'm going to right-click to copy. Close the window here. Right-click again and paste. And now I'm going to edit my email. So first, I'm going to section off my email by inserting a horizontal line in between each section. And my newsletter has 3 sections, so I'm going to change each of my headers to maroon. Then I want to add a link to a page on our website. So I'm going to scroll down and link to our Become a Member page by highlighting my text. Once again, inserting the link wizard. Selecting Web Pages from the module. New window, next. And I just want to choose the Become a Member page. Scrolling down, at the bottom, the text email content will auto-populate for you, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Remember that with your email campaigns, you can include attachments, so using a link is how you share files. You can click to preview the email, which saves your work, and allows you to check how your email looks. And it looks good so far. Notice that the text email has auto-populated for you. Then click back to continue working. And when you're done, you can save your changes and return to the Email Campaign tab. Now under Action, you can delete or edit the email, which will not affect any campaigns that have been sent or that have been scheduled to be sent. You can also copy the email, which will instantly create a duplicate. So now when I go to set up next month's newsletter, I can use the same general email with next month's content. And then you can send once you're finished editing. Now you see here the total number of email addresses selected, and if you combine lists, this is the combined total. You also see the number of invalid addresses, pending and opted out. And then under duplicates, you have the number of subscribers who appear in both lists. You can select a date for your email to be sent, and you must select a start date. Start time is optional. You can specify a time that you want the email to be sent. If you don't specify a time and the start date is today, the email will send immediately. And if you do send immediately, there is no stop to the process once you hit send. So if you're sending in the future, you can edit or delete the email until it begins sending. We'll go ahead and send. And then we can move to the pipeline. And this is where email campaigns are stored as they're being processed. The status right now is in progress, and you can select details to see how many emails have been sent. If your list is long, you can check on the progress here. Let's go back to our previous screen. Pipeline is also where an email is stored for future sending. So if you set up an email to be sent a week from now, you would come to the pipeline to review, edit, or delete that email. This same email will still be under campaigns, but if you edit or delete it there, it will not edit or delete it here. So for an email that's scheduled to be sent in the future, pipeline is where you edit it, but only until it starts sending. History is where email campaigns are stored after they've been sent. They leave the pipeline tab and they go into history. Here you can store campaigns until you choose to delete them. And under details, I can see how many emails were sent. Bounced will review in a few minutes. I can see how many of the emails have been viewed by the recipient. Click-throughs is how many of the recipients actually clicked on the links inside the email. Responses indicates how many people responded or replied to the email. Total views is a list of views, so this number could be greater than your recipient number if recipients viewed the email more than once. Same with total click-throughs and responses. Total forward to a friend shows the total number of subscribers that were added using the forward to a friend link. Link click-through statistics breaks down click-throughs by each individual link in the email so you can see how many people opted out, forwarded, and clicked to your homepage. And it shows each email address so you can see specifics on each individual email subscriber. So now I want to show you this email as I received it. So let's log in to our training email account. And we'll open up the email. And there it is. And it's wrapped nicely within our template, and everything that we set up is now shown. Okay, so let's go back to Blue, and we'll click on the Bounced tab. If your Bounced Email tab says you do not currently have a Bounced Email account to find, please contact your system administrator, then contact Acrosoft to turn this feature on. The Bounced Emails feature is not automated by the system. This feature must be manually used by you. So we recommend that you check for bounced emails about an hour after you send out a campaign. The Bounced tab will list email addresses that could not be delivered to help identify problem addresses. And if possible, the system displays the reason why a message bounced. So if multiple emails are returned from an address, the system shows how many bounced messages have been received. Check Bounced Emails displays the number of bounced email messages received from a campaign. This process may take a while depending on the campaign list size. Get Bounced Emails prompts the system to retrieve bounced messages received from email campaigns, and this process may also take a while. Invalidate All quickly invalidates email addresses that have bounced, and this lets you quickly change the statuses of the email addresses from active to invalid on the Subscribers tab, so that until you validate and activate their emails, they'll no longer receive campaigns. And then Delete All deletes bounced email messages from the Bounce tab, but not from the subscriber's email list. So to delete addresses that bounced, either delete them from the Subscriber tab manually or use the Purge and Clean feature under the Database tab. Under Action, DEL allows you to delete an individual address from the bounce list. It does not delete the address from the Subscribers tab. Edit lets you change an address under the Subscriber tab without having to switch tabs, and with this you can easily update addresses with simple errors. You can also search or filter bounced email addresses, making it easier for you to group messages of the same error type together to either delete them or set them all to invalid. The information on the email addresses here is not per campaign, it's per email address. So that means that if you have a bad email address that happened to be in more than one campaign, that address would only show up once, indicating under count how many times it bounced. So if you sent 4 different campaigns, it would show a count of 4. After you've checked and listed bounced emails, if you return to the Campaigns History tab, and click on Details, you can see here how many addresses bounced on a particular campaign. And bounce stats won't appear here until after you've manually checked and listed bounced emails. So next I want to copy the campaign that we just sent and send it again, but this time using the membership list, which is populated through the membership module. As a quick reference, the membership module is important to email marketing because you send out email communications to membership groups based on customized criteria. So going back to our campaign's main tab, we'll edit our copied campaign. And this site only has 4 members populated in through my membership module at this time. I just want to show you how to query data for your emails by using the membership module. So now, instead of choosing from the subscriber list, I'm going to choose from members. So I'm going to uncheck subscriber, check off my member list, and then I'm going to click Edit Rules. And for a simple example, I'm going to query for members who live in Florida. So this is how you do this. Select Include from the drop-down menu. Member info state equals Florida, and then add my query item. So my query has been added, and if I were to click Calculate Total, the system would then tell me how many email addresses from the members list live in Florida, and I could view those addresses by clicking on View. Okay, so as another example, let's say I want to be more specific and query for members who live specifically in Sarasota. So to do this, I would select Exclude, Member Info City, exclamation point equals Sarasota, add query, and then I would calculate my total again, and then I would see how many members live specifically in Sarasota and could proceed with sending out the campaign. The membership module in combination with email marketing gives you greater flexibility with how to select or query email recipients. So now we're going to step into the Forms module to take a closer look at the email sign-up form and the Forward to a Friend form. We'll also look briefly at form layout, configuration, and submission. The Forms module is where you create forms or surveys that can be sent as a link within your campaign. And this is also where your e-news sign-up form and Forward to a Friend form are stored. Because of the powerful capabilities of the Forms module, we do offer a separate training on just this module. In fact, we have 2, Basic Forms and Advanced Forms. Forms work with email marketing as well as other modules, and this is just a brief introduction to some of the components that you use with email marketing. With the Forms module, you can create any kind of form that you may need, and once a subscriber completes the form, you can view the submitted information in Forms, or you can have the responses sent to a specific email address. So let's go to the Forms module in the blue interface. And we have 3 tabs in the Forms module: Submissions, Web Forms, and Databases. The Submissions tab lets you view, edit, and delete forms that have been completed by visitors to the website. You can store submissions here until you choose to delete them. The Action column allows you to edit or delete submissions. If I click Edit next to the first submission, I can see the submitted information. And the Previous and Next buttons will take me to other submissions. I can also print submissions. Going back to the submissions main screen, the name column is determined by you when you set up your form, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. The date column is the date the form was submitted. Status is set by you when you review the form. So if I edit the form, I can set the status to processed, archived, or pending. The form column shows the form name that you set up when you created the form. And then the Web Forms tab is where forms are created and stored. And this is a list of all of the forms currently on the site. We're not going to build a form from scratch today, but I want to point out that if we select Add a New Form, you'll see that you have a templates library to choose from. And the Forms templates library works just like the email templates library. So we're going to talk about the Forward to a Friend form and the e-news form today. And here's a quick view of some of the configuration settings for each form. Under Action, you can edit, delete, or copy. Form name is the name you give your form when you set it up. Page title is the page title of the form. Send mail is set up so that every time a submission is completed, you can select to send or receive a notification email. Save DB is for selecting to save the data to the database, and we recommend that you do this so that the information will be stored in the Submissions tab. You can see if a form is set up to be a secure form. A form that collects credit card information, for example, would need to be a secure form. Multi-page forms have a continue button to go to the next page, and you can use built-in criteria to make forms more complex. So for example, you can have a question on your form about chicken or steak, and if you choose chicken, the next page would have chicken questions on it, or if you choose steak, the next page would have steak questions. And we build a multi-page form with conditionals in our advanced forms training. Type is required to help you organize forms, and as your forms list grows, you can use this field to identify forms by types that are relevant to you. Later, you'll be able to filter by type. Okay, so let's look at the Forward to a Friend form. This is just a basic Forward to a Friend form, and if you click on the Forward to a Friend link under Form Name, you can preview your form. We can select Edit, and then Edit again to view full form configuration, and under Configuration, Form Name and Form Type we reviewed on the main screen. Form Behavior is where you select single or multi-page forms. When we were in the Submissions tab, I pointed out that you can control what shows up in the name column. The Display field is where you select what will be in that column, and the gray drop-down menu includes fields that you have in your form, and actually it's a pop-up. You can display a combination of fields to help search or sort. The field display is done on real time, automatically updating based on what you select in Display field. Under Form Options, you can select the Secure Form option. And our recommendation, again, is that you should always save the data to the database so it will store every submission in Submissions. This is also where you select the Send Notification Email option, and your email subject could be Forward to a Friend Submissions, and you can have the submission sent to one email address or several, separated by a comma. Confirmation page is where you set up the message that appears after a visitor fills out a form and clicks Submit. Your message can include custom fields like the person's name, so you could write thank you first name for your submission, or thank you first name for forwarding our newsletter. In order to use the custom field, your form needs to request that data. And then, if you want your recipient to receive a confirmation email, you set that up here as well. Always remember to save your form configuration. And then from this screen, you can add, delete, or edit the fields that you'll use in your form. And again, we review this in depth in our forms training. Going back to the Web Forms main screen, the eNews form is the form I used in part 1 of the training to sign up to receive email. And if I click on eNews, you can see the form as it is on the site. If I edit the eNews form, and edit it again, I can see that this form is set up to store data to the database. The email confirmation that I received during the first training is set up here and can be edited here. And under email confirmation, the form is also set up to send a confirmation email to the end user. Database is where you can export a file of your submissions records by form, or delete a large number of submissions records at one time with the Purge option. Purge also uses a date, so you can delete records that are older than a specified date. In the Database tab, I can download a text file of all submissions for a specific form. So I could just select my form, select the format I want to download in, and then click Download. And forms are a powerful and fun way to connect with and gather information from site visitors and email subscribers. To send a form within an email campaign, you just need to set it up as a link. That concludes our Email Marketing Part 2 training. For more information on the email marketing module or on Acrosoft Freedom, please visit www.acrosoft.com, call 888-965-3330, or email info@acrosoft.com.